Good afternoon. Dan Ryan here with the Human Capital Connection on the Social Media Connection Broadcast Network. It's a pleasure to have you back with us again today. Very fortunate to have as my guest Matt Lowney from DaVita. Matt, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks for having me on.
Matt, you work as an internal recruiter. I work as an external recruiter.
Yeah.
It's a tough time out there. Tell me about what it's like to work for a firm, a successful firm, recruiting today.
Well, it's interesting. So from a open position standpoint, let's look at it that way. We are way down on open positions, so that could be one of a couple reasons. One, we're seeing a pretty big uptick in terms of retention. People aren't leaving their jobs. And two, we're not creating as many kind of growth-related positions. So kind of my team's open position load, if you will, is about 30% behind where it was this time last year. We usually get a little bit of a spike through the summer. We're starting to see that, but certainly nowhere as busy as we've been 06, 07, or 08.
So if I'm a job seeker and I look at DaVita, which is a successful firm, retention is up, fewer people are leaving, and you said the number of open positions is down 30%. How many open positions might you have at any time now?
Well, DaVita-wide, I pulled that report actually before we came over here. We're looking at about 950 openings across DaVita. My group, which is kind of the Southeastern Regional Operations Group, we're sitting at about 150 to 160, somewhere in that range. Very clinical. Most of our positions will be nurses, social workers, dietitians, patient care techs. So a lot of my world is around clinical recruiting.
So things are slow, but in the general scheme of things, it sounds like DaVita is still doing quite well compared to a lot of other firms.
We are fairly resistant. I mean, dialysis is our business, and dialysis is one of those non-elective healthcare things, much like home healthcare. So we don't feel as much of the brunt from a negative standpoint as maybe even other healthcare companies like hospitals. I know they're seeing pull back in terms of elective surgeries, things like that.
So things are well at DaVita, but I also know that in your heart and in the things that you do, you're involved in the recruiting world at a very big level here in Nashville. And I know you're involved in an event that's going to take place here at the end of May. Tell me more about that event.
So we've got a very cool event going on right now. It's called the Safe and Sound Career Expo at Lipscomb University. It's at Allen Arena. Basically, Lipscomb was nice enough to give us the entire gym for the day, May 28th, Thursday. It runs from 10 to 3, and the reason we call it a career expo and not a career fair is, yes, it's one part career fair. We have 45 employers there. Probably will be up to about 50 by the time we kick things off. But we also have speakers throughout the day, speaking on a variety of career-related topics. Dan here is one of our speakers.
Thank you.
We have people talking about resume writing, interviewing, networking, online networking. So we have 2 classroom settings set up in the gym. So we hope folks don't just, we'd love for people to find a job, but certainly if they, worst case scenario, they walk away and they've learned a little bit more about finding a better job, and that's kind of our goal. We anticipate about 5,000 people showing up to the event that day. We've got some great partners, Channel 5, the Nashville Chamber, the Human Capital Group is one of our partners. So we've had really cool community support for the event, and we really think it's going to go well.
So obviously, if I'm a job seeker, I want to be at this event.
We hope so, sure.
But other than job seekers, who else would want to get involved in this event?
Well, we also have other booth vendors that maybe are not necessarily hiring right now. So there are some employers that are just saying, listen, we're not hiring now, we will in the future, so they're networking. We also have booths for schools like Lipscomb will have a booth talking about getting an executive MBA. I know the Small Business Administration is going to be there talking about business ownership as a career path. So it's not just employers there that are in hiring. Certainly there will be a good number of those. But I hope folks kind of pick up that we're trying to make this an expo versus just a career fair coming and dropping off your resume 40 times and walking out.
So this sounds like quite an event. We're going to have a number of firms there, some hiring,
yep.
some
most
not.
hiring, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Most hiring?
So the 45, I would say 38 or so are actually actively listed as hiring.
And again, not to single any firms out, but if you were going to name 5 or 6 firms that are going to be there that are very aggressively looking for candidates, who would they be?
Well, I know Verizon and T-Mobile will be there. AmMed Direct, which does diabetes supplies. MDON, which they are actually hiring a lot right now. They have actually 2 booths. They really want a big presence there. For instance, we have the U.S. Army there, Metro Nashville Police. They're all hiring. So that's just a few of them, and there's a few staffing agencies, a couple financial firms like Edward Jones will be there. So we've got an interesting variety of companies. So it's not just a niche healthcare or a niche this or that. It's kind of a broad spectrum of industries.
It actually leads me into another question. If there were one or two niches that you think are underrepresented right now, and you were to say employer in this industry or employer in that industry, you need to be there, what would those be?
Well, I mean, I would still like to see more healthcare there. I have about 4 or 5 healthcare companies. I would like to see more of that. Maybe I know a lot of education seems to be the next line. I mean, Lipscomb pretty much has that covered at the event, but there's certainly the opportunity for other schools to be there. Both talk about them hiring and also just what offerings they have to help job seekers. So I would like to see maybe a few more schools and a few more on the healthcare side. Don't expect much from a manufacturing standpoint to be there. There's not a lot of hiring there. So we don't have any interest from that standpoint, and that's not surprising.
So as a job seeker or an interested party, how do I get more information about this event?
So Channel 5 and Lipscomb were both gracious enough to host sites about the event. So you can either go to Lipscomb, I think it's lipscomb.edu.
That's correct.
Or newschannel5.com. News Channel 5, it actually is under the Safe and Sound logo right on the front page. And I'll tell you location, again, job seekers start getting there about 10 o'clock, and we'll have, every hour we'll have 2 different speakers on different career-related topics. So
I also know for a fact that if you're a Facebook user, there's a group on Facebook right now. I know over 1,000 people have been invited via Facebook. If you want to learn more, you can go to the Facebook site. There are links to both News Channel 5 and Lipscomb on the Facebook site. Other social media is going to be used to help put the word out. But if you want more information, lipscomb.edu, newschannel5.com, Facebook. Any other thoughts, Matt?
Just comment. The one question I get a lot of around going to campus is parking. The nice thing, there's nothing going on Lipscomb's campus that day. I've got every parking spot in both parking garages and all surface lots. So people don't have to worry about getting there and kind of mulling around finding a spot. So that was one question I've gotten repetitively, and Lipscomb has been nice enough to just give us allowance to park anywhere they can find.
Any special considerations about public transit getting back and forth to the campus if you don't drive?
So I don't know the bus routes. Apparently there is one, I think, that runs to Lipscomb's campus. I've seen it. I don't know what route that would be. I don't know that much about it, but I do know there's buses that run around campus for sure. So I know you can get there if you don't have your own transportation.
So quickly again, 28th of May.
28th of May, Thursday, 10 to 3. At Lipscomb, it's at the basketball gym, Allen Arena.
Very good.
So, cool.
Any other thoughts as we close?
Come. I guess that's what I want as many people to come. We really, for it to be a success, is going to really, at this point, involve participation from job seekers or those folks who might be in job search at some point that aren't right now.
Matt,
cool.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for coming on the show today. Again, it's Dan Ryan with the Human Capital Connection on the Social Media Connection Broadcast Network. Safe and Sound Career Fair, May 28th, Lipscomb University. Be there. And again, thank you for being with us on the show today. Thank you.